acknowledge the incredible work of the people at SpaceX and NASA and everyone in creating this technology, and in what has culminated in this incredible launch today of getting astronauts back to orbit after almost a decade. Should really get people, right on the heart of anyone who has any spirit of exploration. And the United States is a distillation of the human spirit of exploration. I think this is something that's particularly important in the United States, but appeals to everyone throughout the world who has within them the spirit of exploration. So, I'm really quite overcome with emotion on this day. It's kind of hard to talk, frankly. It's been 18 years working towards this goal, so it's hard to believe that it's happened. We haven't quite yet docked at the space station, and of course we need to bring them back safely, and we need to repeat these missions and have this be a regular occurrence. So it's a lot of work to do, but it's just incredible. I think this is something that everyone, this is a craft made by humans, for humans. This is like something that I think humanity should be excited about and proud of occurring on this day. I think this is a day that I think everyone can be proud of. That it's a good day to be. This event is something that all of humanity can get excited about. It's just a fundamentally positive, good thing, and I think we need more positive, good things in this world. On Wednesday, during the first countdown, I'd say that my adrenaline was railed at 100%. And when the launch was called off, it went to 0%. It was like I just basically collapsed and slept the longest time I'd slept in probably a year. Then oddly enough, today, I don't know, it felt like the fates were aligned, and I didn't feel nervous. Didn't feel, for whatever reason, I did not feel nervous. A tremendous accomplishment for SpaceX in partnership with NASA and a number of critical suppliers. In fact, if I think about the total number of people involved in making this mission successful, it probably adds up to 100,000. So I'd just like to express a word of appreciation and congratulations again to everyone involved in making this successful. And just a special word to the administrator and Kathy, and it's just everyone involved. It's just wow. Anyway, it is a little hard to process. I think at this point I am somewhat overcome by emotion to try to step on a journey towards a civilization on Mars, life becoming multiplanetary, based on the moon, and expanding beyond Earth, and life becoming a multi-planet species, life becoming multiplanetary for the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth. I think this is hopefully the first step on that journey. It will require a tremendous amount of innovation and technology development to make going to orbit and ultimately beyond orbit a routine matter where thousands and perhaps ultimately millions of people can travel to other planets. That's what we really need to achieve over time, and that's obviously a very difficult goal, but that's seeming increasingly real with what happened today. That getting people to orbit finally after 18 years. If we are able to increase the rate of innovation, then life can become multiplanetary. This is the goal we should strive for. Yeah, human spaceflight was always the goal, the fundamental goal of SpaceX. Well, like I said, to create the technologies or help create the technologies necessary to agent in this regard. All the creatures and the plants and everyone that exist here on Earth, we can bring them to other planets, and it's very important that we do so as soon as possible, I think, while the window of opportunity is open. I call upon the public to support this goal and to think about this goal and think about how important it is. and how fundamental it is to the future. We got to get it done. The launching satellites is nice, of course, and it keeps we've got to bring in more money than we spend. This is important, but it's ultimately all about life beyond Earth. NASA made us way better than we would otherwise have been, and obviously we couldn't even have got started without NASA. So thank you very much for your support. I mean, I'm optimistic in general, so I guess that extends to schedules too. I don't know. I mean, I guess I would wish that we could do it in 2 years. I don't know. That might mean 4, but I don't know. I think it's not out of the question that it could be 2 years. I would be surprised if it took more than 4. Maybe I'll just blank out the word doubt. No, I mean, to be totally frank, I doubted us too. So I thought we, had maybe, when starting SpaceX, maybe had a 10% chance of reaching orbit. So to those who doubted us, I was like, well, I think you're probably right. I mean, the number of times that I was told, like, because I was taking the money that I earned from PayPal and rolling it into to create SpaceX and Tesla, and I ended up spending it all. It wasn't the intention, but almost both companies went bankrupt. Frankly, 2008 was a tough year. It took us 4 attempts just to get to orbit with Falcon 1. But a lot of times people would tell me this joke, like, how do you make a small fortune in the rocket industry? You start with a large one, is the punchline. And I was like, okay, I already heard that joke 12,000 times. Anyway, and it almost came true. We just barely made it there. That 4th launch of Falcon 1, that's all the money we had for that 4th launch. And then, and that wasn't even enough to save the company. We also then had to win the NASA cargo resupply contract. So that came a little after, a little bit later, or right towards the end of 2008. Those are the 2 key things that saved SpaceX. Otherwise, we would have, not made it. So hey, I think those doubters were, their probability assessment was correct. But fortunately, Beta smiled upon us and brought us to this day. Yeah, human spaceflight was always the goal, the fundamental goal of SpaceX. Well, like I said, to create the technologies or help create the technologies necessary to make life sustainably multiplanetary. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is the thing that we need to do. We must make life sustainably multiplanetary. It's not one planet to the exclusion of another, but to extend life beyond Earth. We are life's agent in this regard. All the creatures and the plants and everyone that exist here on Earth, we can bring them to other planets, and it's very important that we do so as soon as possible, I think, while the window of opportunity is open. Well, it really hit home, when you meet somebody's kids and the vehicle that you're responsible for, that their life's at stake. It really hits home. So that the return is more dangerous in some ways than the ascent. So we don't want to declare victory yet. We need to bring him home safely. Make sure that we're doing everything we can to minimize that risk of re-entry and return. We were able to do that with the Demo 1 vehicle, so we were able to retire a lot of risk with the re-entry there. That's a big deal, but yeah,